This is a fake US $100 bill. This is also a fake US $100 bill. Which one is worse? You might think that this fake bill is worse than this fake bill because this one's more obviously fake. But wouldn't being more obviously fake make it better, not worse? Doesn't the fact that it's easier to spot as a fake and therefore less likely to deceive people make it better, not worse? In other words, what's worse about this fake bill? It does a worse job at looking like an authentic bill. But this one isn't supposed to look like an authentic bill. It's supposed to look fake. The color's all wrong. It has play money and not legal tender on the front and back. The purpose of this bill is not to trick anyone. The purpose is to teach kids how money works and what the different denominations are, or just for kids to play with. It's not made to deceive. This fake bill was made to trick people. Its purpose is to deceive you. And the interesting thing about counterfeits is that the more authentic they look, the more deceptive they are. The more authentic this fake bill looks, the more people it will deceive. Here's a related thought. The German philosopher Immanuel Kant said, "The only thing that's good without qualification is a good will." The only thing that's good without qualification is a good will. What does this mean? Well, there are all kinds of things that we typically think of as good, but they're actually bad if they're attached to an evil will. So they're not good without qualification. For instance, we would normally think of intelligence as a good thing. But what if this intelligence belongs to a serial killer? An intelligent serial killer who can use his intelligence to conceal his crimes and get away with killing more victims is worse and more dangerous than a dumb killer who makes mistakes and gets caught. Here's a list of the IQs of various serial killers and murderers. Not completely reliable numbers. Nathan Leopold at the top had his IQ tested by the military and they used a weird test. Some of these are estimated, but the point remains. A lot of people who got away with serious crimes got away with those crimes because they were very intelligent. The world would have been a better place if these killers had been dumber. So, intelligence is ordinarily good, but it's not good without qualification, because it can be bad if it's used for evil. What about charisma, the ability to attract and influence people with charm and magnetism? Nick Fuentes has tons of charisma falling out of his pockets, and he's intelligent. His charisma helps him become more and more popular. But what's that charisma attached to?
Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool. So, time to grow up. Second semester, I got home in the spring and I was like, Mom, Dad, Hitler was awesome. Hitler was right. And the Holocaust didn't happen. That is how those 6 million cookies come crumbling apart and go up the chimney at the cookie baking factory at the Chips Ahoy headquarters. My favorite song is Heil Hitler. My favorite song is Gas Chambers. Hitler alone stood against the communists on one side, the communist Jews on the one side, the capitalist Jews on the other, literally a two-front war. Dude, Hitler had aura. You know what I have to say about that? Hitler had aura. Aura. Riding down the street like this. And everybody's like, Polish people have this bad habit of hating Hitler, and we're going to stop dissing the Nazis all the time, okay?
So, his charisma helps him win support for seriously evil ideas. The world would be a better place if people like Nick lacked charisma. Think about speaking ability or preaching ability, the ability to mesmerize crowds and make them think deeply about spiritual matters. More than 2 decades ago, I was driving down the road near campus with Nabil, and I played a tape of Ravi Zacharias for him. This was when Nabil was still a Muslim. He listened to Ravi for a few minutes and said, "This guy is the perfect communicator." But as we all found out much, much later, Ravi was using his abilities to lure in victims and to shield himself from scrutiny. His abilities helped him manipulate and deceive and abuse people. So those abilities were not good without qualification. What about Bible knowledge? Surely knowledge of the Bible is good. Imagine the ultimate Bible teacher, someone who knows the Old Testament and New Testament from memory, in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Suppose he knows every commentary that's ever been written, backwards and forwards. He knows what every rabbi and every church father said about every passage, and he can answer any question you have about any passage in the Bible. Sounds good, right? What if he uses that knowledge to start a cult with him at the center of the universe? No one would be able to correct or refute him because he would use his immense knowledge to justify anything he said or any behavior, no matter how depraved. Who could stand against him? Now for something everyone wants. Something that has to be good. Surely it's always good to have a following. Think about Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Candace has one of the biggest podcasts on the planet, sometimes the biggest. But she comes across as a bit unhinged.
Every person who speaks about Israel has to basically say a statement that's like, I don't want to get killed. like literally, you start speaking about it, people are like, Candace, beef up your security. That's not fucking normal. Excuse my language, but that is not normal. Okay, the way that you get comfortable with it is you're like, well, they shot JFK in an open car, so there's not. He's a sitting president. Obviously, my security doesn't really matter. If they want me, they're going to get me. I just want to be clear. Anything happens to me, blame the Zionists. 1,000% blame the Zionists. Let that be my parting words. Okay. Andrew Tate said something that really stuck with me. He was just like, at the end of the day, they're just going to rape your kids last.
Guess what? It's good that she comes across as a bit unhinged, because that's a warning sign to lots of people. Candace can still get a huge crowd watching because she's drawing viewers from the entire world. And there are tons of people in the world who are really into conspiracy theories. But people who aren't just dying to hear Candace's latest conspiracy theory have been walking away from the lunacy.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
They're getting sick of it and losing interest. So Candace will lead a lot of people to some completely deranged ideas, but she would actually be more dangerous if she didn't come across as crazy to so many people. In other words, there are people who stopped watching Candace. They say, I used to love Candace. I had to stop watching because she's so unhinged. But it's actually good that she's so unhinged, because if she wasn't, she'd be deceiving even more people. Her dangerous ideas would be harder to spot. This is why Tucker Carlson is actually more dangerous than Candace. Tucker still speaks at huge conservative events. Tucker spoke at Charlie Kirk's memorial.
And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I could just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem.
Why do we see Tucker at these events, but not Candace? Because Tucker seems less crazy. He's less crazy, so he's less of a risk and less of a threat. He's much safer, so he can speak at all the events. That's weird to me because I see things the exact opposite. The crazier someone is, the less dangerous he seems to me because he's easier to spot. I can't imagine Kanye doing too much damage because everyone knows Kanye is crazy. Tucker, by contrast, is going to lead a lot more conservatives and a lot more Christians down a horrible path because they trust him. He doesn't come at you screaming like a lunatic. He nudges. He slowly nudges day after day, week after week, until you're heading in a completely different direction and you can't even figure out how or why you changed course. There are endless examples here, but let's go with an easy one. In 2025, Tucker's been slowly convincing his followers that Islam is good and that Sharia isn't nearly as bad as its critics claim.
He's like, you know what Islam means? Submission. And like, let it hang in the air. Like that was self-evidently disgusting. And I was like, I kind of think submission to God is like the whole point of life, but I didn't say anything. I was like, I don't think I'm against that, actually. But you should know, Seth, that the real danger is Sharia law. Sharia law. And you can tell when you go to a place like Abu Dhabi or Riyadh, like, oh man, I hope we don't ever wind up with a society like this with a rape rate of 0, where you leave your keys in your Lamborghini and don't ever worry about it being stolen. And, you know, if people want to get wasted, they do it at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't.
Boy, I hope we don't wind up with that.
When people complain about the treatment of women and girls in Afghanistan, where little girls are being married off to much older men and girls can't go to school past the age of 12 so they don't learn to think, and women can't even speak or show their faces outside their homes, Tucker mocks the concerns.
The Taliban, we hear so much about the Taliban's oppression of women and making music illegal, and they do those things. However,
I never understood why I was supposed to give a shit about that. I mean, I want everyone to be free just as a matter of principle, but that didn't, whether people can, you know, girls can get PhDs in feminist studies or whatever, is of less concern to me, right?
Why should we care if women can't get PhDs in feminist studies? Is that what anyone was complaining about? Look, if you want to say, hey, it's not our country, we don't control the rest of the world, so let's stay out of it, that's one thing. But to pretend that what's going on with women and girls in Afghanistan is just a bunch of whining about not being able to get doctorates in gender studies, and to get conservatives and Christians to see the situation that way, that seems completely, utterly, totally evil to me. But conservatives and Christians will slowly warm up to Islamic law because Tucker is going to slowly, gently nudge them in that direction. He's going to deceive more people because he's much more careful about it. So, bad qualities attached to an evil will can actually be good in a weird way because they can help you spot the evil. Good qualities attached to an evil will are bad. All right, have we learned anything yet? Let's find out. Pop quiz. If the devil comes up to you right now, what's he going to say? Is he going to say, A, hi, I'm the devil, and I want to bring you and everyone around you to hell? Or B, hi, I'm your greatest ally. You're very special to me. I want the best for you. So know that you can always trust me. Let's work together and change the world. Now, let me tell you who your real enemies are. What's the devil going to say? The answer, obviously, is B. He'll claim to be your greatest ally. The goal of a counterfeiter isn't simply to make a fake bill. This is a fake bill. You can make one of these on your printer. The goal of a counterfeiter is to make a bill that looks and feels as much like an authentic bill as possible. And the more the counterfeit bill looks and feels like an authentic bill, the more deceptive it is. So don't be blinded by intelligence or knowledge or charisma or the number of followers someone has. Always look for the goodwill.